Hey y'all, Mind the Monsters, Sunshine here. So I'm not going to camera up today because I'm not feeling well, but I did want to share this case. I was actually asked to cover this case by one of my cold case people on Facebook group. So thank you guys for being here. I always remind to be respectful, and I appreciate everybody. So we're going to start out with her missing flyer here, and full credit for the flyer does go to True Crime Replay. This is Gretchen Fleming. She's missing out of Parksburg, West Virginia. She's been missing for a while, guys. She's been missing since December the 3rd of 2022. She was 27 at her age of missing, 5'1", brown hair, brown eyes. Gretchen was last seen at the My Way Bar in Parksburg, West Virginia, late in the late evening of December 3rd. Her phone and purse were returned to the front row bar by a friend discovered several days later when she did not pick up her items. She was last seen leaving My Way with the person of interest, Preston Pierce, previously known as Daryl Lott. So if you guys caught the title, and if you have any information, reach out to Detective Zimmerman at 304-424-1072, or as always, call 911. So we'll bring her missing flyer back up. But I want to read some of these. I found some articles, some news clips, and we're going to learn about this case together because I actually don't know a lot about this case. Like I said, I was just asked to cover it. So I do want to share what I was able to pull up so far. So I'm going to start out with this article. And this is her face. Beautiful girl. It says Parksburg. An episode of Investigation Discovery show Disappeared is set to air Sunday, 10:15, and that was this year, 2023, at 10 p.m. We will be featuring missing Parksburg native Gretchen Fleming. They basically want to tell Gretchen's story. David Fleming, Gretchen's father, said what happened leading up to the events where she went missing, and to let us tell her story about how the evening unfolded and what kind of happened leading up to her disappearance. Gretchen Fleming was reported missing on December 12, 2022, and the investigation has been ongoing since. David Fleming said the Parksburg Police Department has been working around the clock on the case with resources available to them. Is everybody on deck? David Fleming said. It's everybody on deck. He said there are some in the community who might feel upset because they don't feel the police are doing enough, but he hopes this will shed some light on the situation. So if you guys see, I'll roll up just a little bit here. There's $100,000 reward leading to information of finding her. Her dad did the investigation discovery because he does not want her case to go cold, and it's one of those somebody saw something, somebody knows something cases. It says David Fleming, Gretchen's father, announced in May at the front of the Parksburg High School that the award for information leading to the whereabouts of his daughter, Gretchen Fleming, was now $100,000. Gretchen will be featured on the upcoming episode of Disappeared titled Gone with the Night. And I did double check, and that is on Investigation Discovery. He said police haven't released a lot of information because it is still an open investigation. They are working behind the scenes and really can't communicate with the general public. And to let them know the investigation entails what they're doing, David Fleming said. But they keep me updated on what's going on in the investigation. He said the support has received the community has been tremendous. Small businesses have donated the money of $100,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Gretchen. People have called to offer their support and prayers, and people have asked to put missing person signs in their yard. This isn't going away, David Fleming said. I refuse to let this turn into a cold case. Sorry, guys, I've got a cough. Nationally, maybe this is going to trigger someone. Maybe somebody knows a tidbit of information they have been withholding and are scared to come forward. Maybe this will stir them up, David Fleming said, and maybe put the heat on the people that were involved or the person that was involved. The episode titled is Gone with the Night. And then it goes on to say people with information contact the lead detective James Zimmerman at 304-424-1072 or the Parker's Police Department at 304-424-8444. And I'll drop both of those in chat. So if you have any information, you can reach this detective or the local police department. State of disorder, she disappeared December of 2022. And thank you for coming in. Oh, I got an error. Hopefully I'm still live here. Let's try that again. Okay, it's not letting me drop a comment, so let's try this a different way. Sorry guys, I've got some other stuff I want to share too. I'm going to jump over here real quick. And of course my live is not on the main stream, so let me go over here. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to drop this information in chat because apparently StreamYard is not going to allow me to do so. Yeah, and what's really hard about these cases, especially this time of year, is this is a family that once again is going to have to spend the holidays without their family member. So I'm going to pin this. Well, I'll try to pin it in a minute because it's not going to act right. Okay, so then I had this I wanted to share. This is another article. It says, and this is ID Crime Feed. West Virginia woman vanishes after leaving karaoke bar with a new acquaintance. He can hide, but he can't run. But eventually, we're going to get him, police say. A West Virginia woman spent the evening out at local bars. She was seen last on surveillance video with karaoke lounge with a man she just met, then disappeared. Gretchen was recently had returned to her hometown from South Carolina, where she had been living with her boyfriend until they ended the year-long relationship. She was a kind of in a lost place when she moved back to Parksburg, recalls David Fleming, Gretchen's father. Gretchen decided to live with her paternal grandmother as she took some time to figure out the next steps following the breakup. According to Gretchen's stepmother, Jennifer Fleming, it is common during that time Gretchen to also stay with friends and be gone with her grandmother's for a few days at a time. At the beginning of December of 2022, David was busy with a new job and had just started as a high school wrestling coach, but he recently reached out to his daughter via text and she didn't reply right away. David says he thought nothing much about it at the time. I was busy all week with a new job. According to David, his 27-year-old Gretchen always had an open line of communication between them and couldn't respond to him right away. She would get back with him when she was able. At the times, it could be over a week later. On December 11th, Jennifer says she and David were at home. David's mother showed up and said she was worried about Gretchen because she hadn't seen or spoke with her in 8 days. The grandmother said she dropped Gretchen off at work December 3rd, and Gretchen let her know that she was not going to be home that night because she was going to hang out with friends. After learning the troubling news, both Jennifer and David attempted to contact Gretchen, but her phone immediately went to voicemail, and there was no responses or texts. David and Jennifer jumped in their vehicle and started canvassing Parksburg bars, restaurants, and one of Gretchen's favorite establishments, Front Row Bar and Grill. David learned from the bartender that Gretchen had been there previously the weekend with one of Gretchen's friends had just dropped Gretchen's purse off at the bar. Inside Gretchen's purse, David found her phone identification, credit card, and other personal items. The bartender mentioned that she left with a guy, and I think I found the purse. I'm scared, he says. I'm thinking in my head that this wasn't a missing persons case. Something had happened. Gretchen's friends confirmed to David that Gretchen had left the front row with a guy to go to another bar called My Way Lounge for karaoke night. The DJ from the establishment revealed to the concerned father that Gretchen was with a man named John. Neither David nor Jennifer knew him. On December 12, 2022, Parksburg Police Department Detective James Zimmerman began investigating the case after David and Jennifer reported Gretchen missing. The man Gretchen was with last night, she was seen out. John told investigators he had Gretchen started the night off at the front row and then headed to my way. According to Detective Zimmerman, John said Gretchen had left her purse in the car and didn't bring it into my way. He claimed that he lost track of Gretchen during the evening, and wasn't able to locate her. Eventually, he went home after looking for her. John said he returned her purse to the front row since he didn't know where she lived and her phone was in the purse. He was really upset and worried, Jennifer says, noting John told her and David that Gretchen just disappeared and he didn't know what happened. John, I know he didn't have anything to do with it, David says, noting the man fully cooperated with police. I've spoken with him. He's just as freaked out as I am as a father. Video surveillance obtained by My Way officers. Gretchen's at the end of the bar herself. A man approaches her. He stands beside her and ends up buying her a drink. David says the footage, according to David, his daughter and the man went to the bar gambling room for about 30 to 45 minutes. They came out of the gambling room and the man ends up walking out the door. She's walking right behind him, he says. At the time, John had gone to the bathroom, so he never saw Gretchen leave. Employees at the bar identified the man with Gretchen that left to the Preston Pierce. Sorry, guys. Gretchen's father and stepmother don't believe that Pierce was a friend of Gretchen's, and they're not sure why she went with him. When police spoke to Pierce and the local delivery man, he confirmed that he and Gretchen had left together. He claimed that he dropped her off in downtown Parksburg. On December 14th, detectives had gathered enough surveillance video the early morning of December 4th to reconstruct Pierce's movements in his vehicle. Police noted that they believed that his vehicle was traveling in the direction of his home, but they never found any footage to show whether or not Gretchen was in the car or left the vehicle. At this point, things aren't adding up. Detective Zimmerman said alleging Pierce's statements to the police are inconsistent. Jennifer did some sleuthing on her own and dug deeper into Pierce's background. She claims she learned, allegedly, used as a position of a delivery man to make contact with women encountered while on the job. He knows where people live because he delivers food to people's houses, Jennifer said. He got their names, he got their phone numbers, contacted them after he delivers the food. According to David, Pierce allegedly had multiple complaints against him for stalking women and pursuing underage minors. David now says that he believes that Pierce thinks he's above the law and untouchable. The father adds, I'm really scared for the community. Whose little girl is next? Investigators executed search warrants on December 5th, 2022 of Pierce's property, including his home, vehicle, and rental storage unit. Zimmerman says they collected evidence in this case. He believes Pierce has more information about Gretchen's disappearance, and he remains a person of interest. He can't hide. He can run, but eventually we're going to get him, Zimmerman vows. The investigation into Gretchen Fleming's disappearance on December 4th, 2022 is an active ongoing. Anyone with information about her case is urged to contact Detective Zimmerman, and then it has his phone number again. And then this is the ID. And I'll put that in chat. This is the ID investigation. Let's see. And I'll go back to chat real quick before we flip. Let's see, right. Bless that family in a bad time of year. It really is. And it is heartbreaking. See, I am from West Virginia, and that area is known for drugs and human trafficking. Welcome in April MGA, and my in-laws are actually from the area as well. So this is really just heartbreaking. No one leaves their ID and phone behind. Right, 100, I agree. It is very odd. And this is like one of the main reasons that, be careful who you meet online, be careful who you leave with, know who you're going with. Okay, so this is the local news WTAP. So big shout out to them, and I'll drop their link in the chat as well. I don't know why my StreamYard's not wanting to drop links, but either way. So we're going to listen to this. And let me know if you guys can hear it. Hopefully it's not going to act crazy like it did the other day and not play the video.
Gretchen Fleming's story will be featured on an episode of Disappeared on October 15th. It will be on Investigation Discovery. Her dad, David Fleming, says that keeping Gretchen's name out there is in their best interest. Gretchen was last seen in early December leaving the My Way Lounge. Her dad says it's important to tell her story.
I hope that this episode will really start to clear out some of the facts and start telling the actual what happened that evening that she did disappear and not so many people speculating what they think happened.
Her dad thanked the community for the support and generosity they've shown. If you have any information related to the case, call Detective Zimmerman at 304-424-1072. After hours, you can call 304-424-8444.
Okay, so then I had this one I wanted to share. This is the same Channel 3. Hopefully it'll load. Let me close some of these out. My signal's not wanting to work right lately, so hopefully that one will load. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Parkersburg woman's case is getting new national attention after being featured on a missing persons series. Our Karan Alston has more with Gretchen's dad, David Fleming.
Gretchen Fleming of Parkersburg was last seen on December 3rd leaving the former My Way Lounge in Parkersburg. Almost a year later, Investigation Discovery has aired an episode about the case and where it stands today.
Well, I wanted to tell the story of what happened that evening, and I'm hoping that people will still talk and people will still continue to look and search for, and hopefully we'll find these answers in the near future that we need.
David Fleming is in hopes that this episode will only benefit the future of the case and bring information forward.
Yeah, I'm hoping this episode will bring attention back to it. We try and keep her name out there every way we know how, with signs all over the city and social media. And we just want to keep the heat on whoever out there knows something to bring forth some information.
From early December of 2022 to middle of October 2023, David and the Fleming family haven't given up hope on the case. In fact, hope is continuing to build.
There's a lot of stuff running in the background, so it has ramped up. So they haven't lost any momentum. In fact, I feel like the momentum is picking up.
From Parkersburg, Ron Alston, WTAP News.
And we saw earlier that it's actually been upgraded to a $100,000 reward for information leading to her whereabouts. There's another article. Pull this one up. Sorry about the ad, guys.
New tonight, the Parkersburg Police Department has provided WTAP with more details on Gretchen Fleming's disappearance. If you have video surveillance, Parkersburg Police Chief Matthew Board encourages you to look
So this vehicle
for this car in your footage. He says to check footage from late night December 3rd through December 5th. If you see the car in your footage, contact Detective Zimmerman at 304-424-1072. During after hours, you can call 304-424-8444. Chief Board says they believe the person of interest took Fleming to their residence. The person of interest originally told officials that they gave Fleming a ride and she departed at an unknown location. However, Chief Board says the story was inconsistent and additional surveillance footage led them to believe the person of interest took her to their residence. Officials have executed search warrants on the person of interest residence, car, electronic devices, and a storage building. Chief Board says law enforcement spoke with the person of interest in the beginning of the investigation, but they are no longer giving police information.
Okay, so we see that a lot, especially these guys that come forward in the beginning and they're so cooperative, and then all of a sudden it's crickets. Go back through chat. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. See, Today's World is Scary. I think I already pulled that up. You have Max. You're going to check it out. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. It's been kind of busy with the holiday and everything. But I did want to get her story out here on my channel. And that way, maybe I can get some bigger creators to grab a hold of her story and share her story. I wonder if he gave her something in the back room. Okay, so I try to stay away from the speculation nation, but I am going to say that there are some Reddit posts about her possibly being drugged. It's a very good possibility. It would explain why she's left such important items behind. Bless the town folk and helping with the reward. Right. Yes, that's his car. That's the car that she was last seen leaving with. And no, he's not an ex. He is, the title, he's a known local creeper. So I normally try to stay away from Facebook groups, but this is actually True Crime Replay. And they do some great work. So I did want to share just a little bit from their page, just to give you guys some context on this guy. In the first article that I read, if you came in late, catch the replay, please. It talks about this guy as he was like a DoorDash driver or a food delivery driver, whatever, Uber Eats, whatever it was. And he's known for getting women's information and then stalking them, and also underage children. So I just wanted to read through a few of these because some of them are kind of alarming. These are some pictures that were on here. It's a pretty girl, very pretty little young girl. And here's the signs, the yard signs that locals can put in their yards. But guys, we always say screenshot, share the posters. I shared them on my Twitter. I'll make sure that I drop one in the community post as well, because it just takes that one person that recognizes her to say, hey, I was at the bar that night, this is what I saw. Or maybe I was down the road, this is what I saw, whatever the case may be. Okay, why is it doing that? Let me refresh it. Sorry about this. It's not wanting to load. Oh, come on. Here, hang on. Let me do this again. Did I go into the wrong one? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Sorry, StreamYard's being weird, guys. So thank you for everybody in here that's tolerating StreamYard. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is True Crime Replay. It's a group on Facebook. I'm going to drop their link in here. You have to send like the thing to get approved or whatever, but it's still a public page. And there is a closed page. Okay. So some of these I'm not going to pull up because it's people like talking about like where he is now. And then again, some of these I really wanted to share. Like here's some really good photos of her. Very pretty girl. And she's young too, and trying to just figure her life out. There's the flyer that I grabbed. There's another good picture of her. All right. So this is what I wanted to show. So it appears that Preston Pierce, the person of interest, has returned to the Parksburg area. This was October the 18th of 2023, after spending some time in the Martinsburg, West Virginia area. Okay, and this was posted by a group member. So this is him. Let's make sure we pull him up there. So this is him sitting, living his best life, having him some food there. Talks about where he was at. There's another photo of him. Here's a photo of him walking. It was in Captain D's. This is the area. Let's see, there's a park up here. Okay, so that's the same photos. That's her missing flyer. This was one of the articles that we just read. Okay, so these are kind of creepy. So these are texts that were between them. And she says, laugh out loud, we can get some food. And then she goes on to talk about like where they're going to get food at, what time. There was a missed call. What are we eating? Don't care what we eat. Laugh out loud, where can we eat? I'll hold you to that. And then he's talking about Mexican food and then Chinese. And then I'll let you guys read this yourself. It's kind of a weirdo. Talking about inappropriate stuff. Just going to leave it at that. Okay, they're talking about the ID discovery. I should have pinned this. I'm sorry, guys. There was one specific. Okay, so this guy is a ex-police officer. So I found that to be interesting. This is one of the searches that took place. So you can see that the community has really come together and like search for her. And then you see the terrain. So this is West Virginia. So this is rough terrain and it's fixing to get cold again, guys. These are locals. Okay, so this is the one I was looking for. This man recently got threatened by me because he was messaging my 15-year-old daughter talking about, and you guys can read that on screen because YouTube will get me. I have made it very clear he was never to speak to her again. This man is a hardcore predator. I can guarantee he probably knows where she's at. So this post alone like completely made my stomach turn because this guy is a straight up creeper. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what we saw earlier in that video or in the article that see, Mind the Monsters, hun, you're doing great. Thank you. Thank you. I need to get back into going live every day because I was going live every day and doing barely lives every day. Right. A 15-year-old. And there's more locals that talk about this guy changed his name. I don't know why Facebook keeps doing this. Keeps like booting me out of the feed. Okay. So there's other locals that have said that like he stalks women, like he's a food delivery driver, like I was saying earlier, and then he gets your information and he stalks these people. So I totally understand people that don't want to leave their house and the convenience of having food delivered, but also keep in mind, madam, come on. Also keep in mind that, anybody can get a job Uber and delivering food and stuff like that. Cause I mean, how well do they do background checks, especially on somebody that changed their name? Wanted to know if anybody has contacted Nancy Grace. I actually have Mac, who I did an interview with, Cheryl Mac McCollum. She's actually best friends with Nancy. So I'm going to reach out to her and see if she can't get Nancy to cover this. But I'm hoping since it was on ID Discovery that like some bigger creators will grab a hold of her case and maybe take a look at it. Okay, so this is a collection of statements from individuals who have claimed they have had interactions with Preston Pierce / Daryl Lott in the past. It is believed that Preston is one of the last individuals to have seen Gretchen. Warning, do not buy or sell anything to this man. His name is Daryl Lott. He will agree on a price and then tell you can pay you for the rest of the item without. Then he will want you to meet you ladies without your husband. When you decline, he will blast you on Facebook. You will block him and he will obsess for about 2 years and then blast again. Definitely nothing worth buying. This guy stalked me when I worked in Parksburg about 5 years ago, and then I worked with him in a nursing home, and the women there got very upset and would not let him touch them. He is now a Spark driver and has hit me while pregnant, stating I look good for being pregnant, but he had to mention first not to sound creepy. Okay, so if you have to tell a woman, hey, I'm not being creepy, don't say it because it's creepy. I tried to be nice because I was working, but I got weird vibes from him. This guy is always at the corral every Tuesday for pool. He would text very disturbing images of ropes and stuff. He would try to get me to come visit his place. Very sad. I hope this young girl is found safe. We all do. We really hope that she's found safe. But it's been over a year now, but we never give up hope. Share a face, share a story, share a name, and always remember this is a real person with a real family, a real story, real pain, real tears, and real holidays coming up that they're going to have to spend without her. I used to work with him and he hit on my underage coworker and knew she was underage. He followed me and my mom, followed me and a friend from the front row to my way and then my home without knowledge. Thankfully, my friend was very alert and noticed him following us. And my boyfriend was told and came outside and confronted him. The police were called. When was this? How scary. And then it's the person's name's blocked out. A few years ago, the police should still have a record of the calling in. And then this was Texas. I don't know if we can we see the Texas? Let's see. That's just creepy Texas from this guy. Like our messages on Facebook. It's not Texas. They're creepy messages. Okay. I know of someone else that this happened to, and this man was a DoorDash driver. He showed up at her house and he wasn't working. It was scared her bad. She cussed him out and then left, but she talked to me about a few times. I told her to go to the police, but she said that she was afraid they wouldn't do anything. And that's what's so sad in a lot of these small towns. You know, people don't want to go to law enforcement because they don't, they're afraid they're not going to be taken seriously. He is very creepy. I used to work with him and then he would send me things like this. And guys, this is kind of creepy. It says, will you dress up with me next Halloween? I want to go as the big bad wolf. Found a perfect costume for you. We have to start working on it though. Look at that. And it's a chick with a baby, dude. Come on. This man would not leave me alone. About a year and a half ago, I went for drinks just to let him down gently because I didn't like confrontation. He became very angry and I didn't want to be sexual with him. He harassed me for weeks and then threatened to tell my ex that him and I had been together. Not a big deal, incredibly rude and untrue. I didn't order DoorDash for months. It would fear that he would take my order. I truly hope this girl is safe. I don't know this guy at all, but he would deliver my food to my work. He makes me very uncomfortable with this comments that I would make to other people to go and get the food. I randomly came across this. I have goosebumps. I also remember he has a pistol. He would not come into our building and would wait outside because of the pew-pew. He never said anything sexual, but his compliments were overboard and inappropriate. He did not know me at all. I'm calling the police. Any females that have similar experiences should report him as well. And that's true. Anybody that's in the area. Okay, this says He was my DoorDash driver once and then a pukey face. The restaurant to pick you up. I'll try my best. You updated throughout the entire transaction. At Applebee's now. I have your lunch and are headed your way. Awesome. It looks like I'm going to be about 5 minutes early. I hope that you guys enjoy your meal. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Thank you. I know that this is inappropriate, but laugh out loud. You're so beautiful. Okay, creeper. And that's her phone. Like, look at this, guys. This is an iPhone. This is an iPhone. So that's not Messenger. That's somebody's phone where you order DoorDash. He was mine as well a couple years back. He started messaging me and all the time and telling me I was beautiful and asking to hang out. Guys, worked at rest care for like 3 weeks. Dude was a creep. He got in trouble for trying to message female coworkers and trying to take them for dinner. Remember this wacko. This creep tried to get with me and I was friends with his daughter. This is the same man that recently got threatened by me as, oh, this is the same 15-year-old sicko. He used to tell his employees that he wanted to buy underwear. Let's see. I almost cried when I saw this. This guy, I'm pretty sure, delivers food, and he would not stop the comments and making me uncomfortable so other people would meet him to pick up the food for me. I'm almost positive this is him. Okay, before the pandemic hit in 2020, he was my DoorDash driver one night when I ordered food to the little gambling place I worked at. He came back hours later to tell me that I was beautiful, and he said at the bar, I was so creeped out that a DoorDash driver would do that. I texted my boss to see if she would come down and sit with me. I wasn't alone with him. We had to tell him to leave because he set past closing time. He found me on Facebook the same freaking night and would message me all the time to find out if I was working. He would come across and sit in the parking lot till I left. My boss ended up coming back at closing time every night for a week straight to make sure that I got safely to my car and stuff. And then the pandemic shut down the bar for a while and I never saw him again. I got such bad vibes from him. So this is blowing my mind that other people went through the same thing. And I'm pretty sure that if you have some kind of event like this, you can actually contact DoorDash and you can complain. He is the reason the daycare I worked for stopped allowing DoorDash. We didn't want him around the kids. Not that anybody that was a parent was allowed inside. So we would tell him that to park on the other side of the parking lot, put the curtains up, and meet him by his car. Not safe for us. I know, but we wanted him to stay away from the kids. He would make comments about how beautiful me and my coworkers were. And even showed up with a pew-pew once. At the one point, kept acting like he was going to grab it when my coworker told him that he couldn't DoorDash there anymore because he made everyone uncomfortable. Think he could see the location before agreed and to order because within seconds of placing it, he would have already agreed to it. I lost so much money from realizing too late. I didn't like looking away from the kids for too long because I had a room full of 1-year-olds and you never know what are going to happen next. And dropping the order before he could get there. My friend finally called DoorDash and provided every screenshot. And they fired him and told us that they had similar reports. Well, in my opinion, the first report, he should have been fired. He delivered groceries to my neighbor last year and then tried to take me out. Let's see what this one says. Become a DoorDash driver. So this is the link. Preston. This is no bonus for us, right? You can sign up now. Hi. And then her name's blacked out. Or, yeah, I'm sure it's a her. Don't know if you remember me or not, but we had a conversation a few months back. I was wondering if I would take you out to dinner. Creeper. And then that's the same post. I had a message request before from this dude. I went into my spam folder. I was randomly looking through it one day, and he's a creep. I wish I still had messages saved, but I never replied back. I deleted them. He was going on about how how I look pretty and my daughter looks so pretty too. Then a few days later, he got mad and said, "Oh, I see you were too pretty to talk to me, babe." And that was it. Like I said, I deleted it. This was like a little over 3 years ago. My daughter was freaking baby at the time, just a year old, and me when I had moved to Virginia, which this is West Virginia. I went to college with him, went to his place to study. He tried to kiss me, and I pushed him away, left. Creepy. I later worked with him at Belpre Landing, but he acted like he didn't remember me. IDK. Creep. I had to go back and look. I don't remember ordering very often, but I remember getting a call from a DoorDasher asking where I was, and I told him because I was at work. He came and handed me my stuff and said I couldn't have been some creep asking where you were. I just shrugged it off and I told him I figured since someone was bringing me food, that was probably who was calling. And I remember him telling me I had gorgeous eyes, but definitely weird vibes. The sad part is these police officers were born in 2010 by me. They didn't listen to me because I a convicted felon. I caught him pleasing himself to child. Y'all can read it on the screen there because YouTube will get me. I had an experience with this man. He used to be my DoorDash driver when I was at work. He refused to give me my food until I gave him my number and work at a nursing home. I was very busy. At first, I deemed him harmless. He delivered another order to my place of employment on a second occasion with an employer and picked up her. He told me that he was looking for me, going to wait for me, and even calling my work to find out my hours. He made comments about my body, and then he used my number to find socials and message me on them. He then texted me and was relentless. He hasn't stopped until recently, and this was posted on October 16th, guys. The last time I spotted him, he was driving by where I lived as he was my dasher again. He waited outside for me to pick up my order, but I refused to. I deleted the DoorDash account and made another one named for future orders. I actually limited the use of the app emergency because of my experience with this individual. And I'll go back and check chat real quick. Let's see. Right, me too. Yep. Born and raised in Kentucky. 1-year-old. Terrifying. Right. It is insane. Completely insane. Mentioning her kid. And these are safe kits, guys. This is a free kit that you can order to keep your kids safe from creepers like this. The first sport, right. He should have been fired. Kept going. Exactly. He kept going. And I mean, these go on and on. Like, this is like different women. This is just terrifying. This is a bunch of different women that have had like creepy experiences with this guy. That's the searchers. There's more photos of her. And like, we're not speculating. I'm just reading like people's, interactions with this guy. So he's definitely like completely terrifying and a creeper. What is this? This is another girl that's missing in the area, apparently. Her name is misspelled on the flyer. The Montegolia County Sheriff's Office is attempting to locate 32-year-old Melanie Marie Gardner of Morgantown, West Virginia, who has been reported missing. Melanie Gardner is described as a white female, 5'4", approximately 170 pounds. I don't know if she's been found, but True Crime Replay is really good about updating stuff, and I don't see anything that she's been found. Wow. She's a really pretty girl, too, so that's quite terrifying. Okay, so that was really all I had on Gretchen. But I'm going to pull her missing flyer back up here, guys. And if you want to screenshot it, or you'll be able to get this from my community page, because I'll post it on community wall as well with her information. And we showed like a bunch of different pictures of her So if you have any information, call 304-424-1072, Detective Zimmerman, or call 911. And like I said earlier, there's a $100,000 reward for anybody that has information and bringing her home. Right. Can't comprehend how he got away with all of this. It's super scary, man. It's really scary. And like I'm glad that ID Investigations done like a series or did a episode on her, because this is really scary. Like this is someone's daughter, you know what I mean? Like someone's family member, and this guy's like a total creeper. And what's extremely concerning is the fact that he was a law enforcement officer and changed his name. I haven't had a chance to dig into him, but I've got a feeling that if I did dig into him, there's probably a good damn reason he was fired from his job. Because that's just, that's enough to just make you kind of wonder, like, what the hell? Like, what in your right mind tells you that it's okay? And then, like, I did go through Twitter, but sadly, other than the posts that I have reshared, there's really nothing on Twitter about her. And Twitter is usually like on top of missing cases. So this is a podcast, November 18th. Let's see. I didn't even see this when I put it in the first time. Oh, okay. I actually just joined this group's. Um, hmm. I guess I didn't see this because they recently just put this up. There's that. Let me do this like this. This is what we're listening to.
Didn't have a
And I'm going to
car
bring
or
her
even
father
have her
back.
license, saying she didn't need to drive when she could just Uber everywhere. Or one of her friends.
And I'm going to mute for just a minute, guys, because I'm getting a phone call. So give me just a second, and I'm going to pull this up. Annie, thank you for coming in. Okay, no worries. Thank you. Okay, so I dropped this podcast the um in the description. I don't want to play their full content, but I do want to share this. So let me see. This is a police update.
Law enforcement in regard to this investigation.
How's it gonna play? We're buffering. Sorry about that. I'm gonna play from here. Oh, come on, don't buffer. Shut this one off. Well, I really wanted to share this with you guys, but I guess my Twitter is going to freeze. So let me copy this link. Stop this. Pull this. See if I can't pull up the direct post. Okay, here we go. Okay, give me just a second, guys. Yeah, right. Never fails. StreamYard just likes messing with me. Thank you for coming in, Missing in America. I appreciate you being here.
Early
Always
morning hours, she left with a gentleman who is the person of interest. We were able to establish contact with him within 24 hours of her disappearance being reported. Initially was cooperative, and at this point, has kind of and completely ceased contact with law enforcement in regard to this investigation. Early morning hours, she left with a gentleman who is the person of interest. We were able to establish contact with him within 24 hours of her disappearance being reported. Initially was cooperative, and at this point, has kind of and completely ceased contact with law enforcement in regard to this investigation. In the early morning hours, she left with a gentleman who is the person of interest.
Okay, so that's what it does, is it just reloops it on Twitter. But I know a lot of people don't have Twitter, so I always like to see if we can't find anything on here. I know there was a couple of flyers. And these are some older posts. Like Missing in America, I actually just put this one on the community wall. So this one's on the community wall, and then the one we were looking at that has his picture on it. So that was like a small clip of the ID discovery. And I don't want to make this too terribly long, because if lives run longer than an hour, people really don't want to watch them. I might try to come live again later on tonight. I'm going to try out words on stream and maybe do some games and stuff, just to try to, be back present in the missing community and, well, in my community altogether. But like I said, Chris did reach out to me, which is one of my friends that actually covers a lot of cold cases. And we really don't want this case to go cold. And this guy is super creep. So I felt it was really important to get her story out here. So thank you everybody for coming in. I really appreciate you spending your Saturday afternoon with me. Saturday morning, wherever you may be in this great world that we live in. But as always, guys, remember, if you see something, say something. Never give up. It takes a village to raise a child. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Guys, we always know that this is not normal people that do these things, that do these horrible things to people. It's not normal. It's not good people. We know who causes it.
Let's see, I don't know. Let me think. Let me knock on Mr. Noggin. Who could trick us into doing that? Could have been Satan.